Hello everybody, thank you for joining us again. I'm Eggplant Evelyn, but today I'm a carrot because it's Halloween Eve. So today we're going to be making a healthy Halloween treat. You might be trying to figure out what you can do with your family this weekend for Halloween, and we have a great recipe that's good for the whole family, and we're going to get started. It has lots of good things, and it has fiber, vitamins, minerals, and lots of sweet things. You can find our recipe and our supply list for our healthy Halloween treats at foodliteracycenter.org. One thing that you are going to need for today's recipe is a food processor. A food processor is going to blend everything really well together into small pieces so we can make our healthy Halloween treats. Another thing you're going to need for today's recipe is some spatulas. I have two different spatulas that I'm going to use, but these are going to help with our food processor and as we put our ingredients in. Let's see what we're going to need for our recipe today. We are going to be using some oat bran, honey. We have our pitted dates. Pitted dates are nice sweet fruit. These don't have a seed, so you want to buy them without the seed, or else you're going to have to take all the seeds out yourself. And they're sweet treat full of fiber. We also are going to be using almonds, or you can use sunflower seeds. We're going to do a little bit of sugar because these are treats. We have our sun butter today, and you can also use your favorite nut butter like peanut butter or almond butter as well. We have some unsweetened coconut flakes or shredded coconut and some cocoa powder that's going to give our treats a nice chocolatey taste. All right, let's get started. Our recipe is so easy today. We're just measuring everything out and we're throwing it in the food processor to let it do its work. The first thing we're going to want to do is take our almonds. Now, it says we want to process them in the food processor for about 30 seconds. So we need a cup and a half. I have my measuring cups handy with me. So I have a cup, and like always, before I get started, I did wash my hands. So if you haven't washed your hands, make sure you wash your hands for 20 seconds with some warm water and soap, because I am going to be using my hands today. So we want a cup and a half. And the reason why we want to add it to the food processor first is we really want to break them down. So I got some sliced almonds. So it's not going to take that long for me to use them. Oh, we need a half cup. So we have our 1 cup, and now we have our half cup. And we're going to add our almonds in. So you can use whole almonds also. And I'm just going to put the lid on, and because they're already sliced, I maybe just will do it for about 10 seconds. But if you're using whole almonds, you want to do it for about 30 seconds. There it goes. Okay. Now remember, this is something we want adults to handle, because we don't want to be putting in our hands while it's moving or anything, and we want to make sure we're using the food processor correctly. So as you can see, now I have these small almond pieces that are going to go well with the rest of my recipe. So we have those in. So those are our almonds. We want to just add everything else now. We have our 1.5 cups of pitted dates. I'm going to just add them. I already measured my dates out. I'm going to spread them around so it's even. These are delicious. I like to eat them with just a little treat. Sometimes you can put a little almond in the inside and you can get a nice crunch. Our next item is oat bran. We're going to do a half cup of oat bran. And as you can see, our oat bran is about the same size and texture as our almonds. So they're about the same. So we're just going to add it on top. Next we need our half cup of unsweetened. That's important, unsweetened, because they do have sweetened shredded coconut. We don't need that extra sugar. We're already having the dates and we're adding a little bit of sun butter and our own sugar, so we want the unsweetened coconut, shredded coconut. Now, if you're not a coconut fan, you might want to leave this out. I do love coconut, so we're gonna include it. But I know there's some people out there that don't like that flavor or texture of coconut. All right, that's our half cup of our coconut. Next, we're going to need a half cup of our nut butter. So I have sun butter because I love the sun butter taste. So we're just going to need a half cup. Let's see, and this is where I really need my spatula to help get everything in and then make sure I get all the sun butter into the food processor. So we need about a half cup here. It's about a half cup right there. I'm gonna put this off to the side. And again, I wanna just spread it out evenly around the food processor. And the spatula really helps to get every little bit out because the sun butter is really delicious, so I don't want to miss out. Okay, I did bring an extra half cup because I didn't want to have to put dry ingredients in my now wet half cup. So let's see what our next item is. Our cocoa powder. So we have our nice cocoa powder here. It's unsweetened cocoa powder, and you can find this at the grocery store. It smells like chocolate. I'm so excited to add this in. We need a half cup. So we're gonna measure it out. You wanna give it some taps so that the air comes out. Okay, so this is a really easy recipe. We can practice our measuring skill, kids, and our pouring skills. So half cup here. I used my hands, now I got a little bit of chocolate everywhere. I'm spreading it out. And next we need half cup of sugar. I got a little cocoa powder on my recipe, which is nice to always have a towel handy so you can go ahead and clean your space, clean your hands. We need half cup of sugar. So I have my sugar here. We're gonna use our half cup again. Now we are using sugar in this recipe, and that is because it's a treat, right? It's Halloween, we're celebrating with our family. Maybe we're getting ready to watch a scary movie tonight or play some board games. So we're gonna make ourselves a treat. And this treat has so much good stuff in it, so we don't have to feel bad. Now we need a fourth of a cup, which is our smallest measuring cup of honey. So I love honey. Excited to add this in. Here we go. A nice fourth cup. I'm gonna pour that over, and I'm gonna use my spatula to help get all the honey out of my measuring cup, and I'm spreading it around. Okay, and now we just have one more ingredient, and it is our vegetable oil. Our vegetable oil is gonna help so it doesn't stick to the side, it doesn't stick to our pan that we're gonna use, and we only need a half teaspoon. So I have my half teaspoon right here. So you can see we're not using very much oil. We also have the sun butter, or the almond butter if you're using almond butter. I'm just gonna pour this around. Okay, all we have to do now is put the lid on. We have it turned on already. Are you ready? It's going to be loud. 3, 2, 1. Whoa, you're gonna wanna hold hold on to it, make sure it stays nice and sturdy. You can see it's kind of shaking the table a little bit, which is why we wanted to spread everything evenly. That way we don't have big chunks and it has to work extra hard to mix everything up. So we're gonna let this sit for about, in the food processor, for maybe another 30 seconds to a minute. And while this is going, we want to get our pan out. Now you can use, we have our pan and I already lined it with a little bit of parchment paper, and that's just going to help for when this is done. It'll be easy to take out each piece. You can always spray with a little nonstick sprayer pan so it doesn't stick, but I like to use a little bit of parchment paper. All right, let's see where we're at. It ran for about a minute. We still have some big chunks in here, so we want to make sure we have it going again. Let's turn it back on. Let's see. Maybe it got stuck a little bit. This is why we need an adult to help us out. I'm gonna just move some of this around, make sure it has enough space. Make sure it didn't get stuck anywhere, which is nice to have the spatula. Okay. All right, let's see if that did the trick. Seems like maybe our food processor doesn't want to work with us today. Well, not to worry, because we can't show you how it comes out. Our food processor doesn't want to work with us, but we already made one, so you can see what the finished copy looks like. So this is our finished product. You're gonna smash it down into a pan, and we already did that, and let it sit in the fridge so it stays nice and hard and sticky. So I'm gonna move some of these items out of the way so you can see what it looks like. Here we go. This is what your finished product will look like once it's done in the food processor. After it's mixed, you're gonna smash it down into your baking pan, and you're gonna put it in the fridge for a few hours so that it cools down. The nice thing about this is that you can then cut this into any shapes that you want. You can do squares, you can use cups to make circles. We have our cookie cutters that we are going to go ahead and cut out some fun shapes. We have our fall cookie cutters. This is a nice little acorn here. And this is where the parchment paper is gonna come in handy, because it's gonna be really easy to take these out. So, lay these out. You just press them out. We have some great shapes. You can do your own shapes if you have your own cookie cutters at home. Maybe you have some pumpkin and bats you want to use, or maybe you have apples and carrot cookie cutters, and you can make fruit shaped cookie cutters. So here we have some of our nice Halloween sweet treats. They're great for when you're watching a scary movie tonight, playing a board game, or you're just hanging out with your family and you want to enjoy this Halloween. Chocolatey. We can taste the almond, the sun butter, the almonds. It's great. You can feel good about having a sweet treat. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll have another recipe for you next week.